We found out about the Shuckin Shack Oyster Bar by a simple post online. Probably wondering, is this too good to be true? And we decided to go take a vacation together, went down to Carolina Beach, tasted the food, enjoyed the atmosphere, and kind of realized that this is the kind of place we'd want to go to every night if we were on vacation. Loved the atmosphere and enjoyed everything about it. So that is what really thrust us to go further into the process of looking into it for ourselves.
When I retired from the Air Force, I initially started looking at different franchises, anything from a tool rental company to a sub shop type franchise. But we kind of went back to, let's just open a restaurant. I had 4 years culinary background in the Air Force, went to culinary school, but there just wasn't enough that I had knowledge-wise as far as back of the house, front of the house, the business side, that led us back to maybe we should look into a franchise. And that's when we saw the ad, own your own oyster bar. We went and visited it. It was we had just become familiar with oysters by being stationed in Virginia. Really got into it like we got into with wine and beer we're now oyster hobbyists. And then when it said own your own oyster bar, we went and checked it out, and here we are today. I think the biggest surprise was the success that we've had. We were led down the path of leaving two great, very structured, environmented jobs with the military and the government, and people telling us, what are you guys crazy? 9 out of 10 restaurants fail. And we were just expecting that first year, which was difficult alone just being the first year, but for us, it was a very successful first year, opening in a community we have never lived in, never even visited. Opened a bar in a community that welcomed us with their arms wide open. And then get to our 4th year, we've always progressively gotten better and busier and done well financially.
Absolutely. The structure of the military and me working for the government definitely sets up franchisees for success because of the leadership skills that we have. My background was marketing. Jason had culinary and in general, just the leadership skills. Simple things like punctuality, knowing how to handle people in tricky situations were instilled in us through the military. So that definitely set us up for success in leadership roles with this restaurant.
For me, one of the things, over my 21 years I've learned was the military teaches you how to problem solve. And when you're in a restaurant environment, especially not being restaurant owners ever in our whole lives, but I've been used to being thrown challenges, whether, our friends in the Army jumping out of planes, you're just thrown into an environment of, you're not familiar with it. We were thrown into an environment of, I've been in a bar, but I've never ran a bar. So you got to take off really fast and learn the process. And in the military, you're always given guidance. So if you can follow the guidance, this is not a hard process for us that have been in the military. Secondly, if you're retired, we found real quickly that having medical benefits and a retirement pension took the initial burden off. Are we going to survive our first year? So we were kind of relaxed, but definitely if you have a pension, whether you're military or not, it definitely takes a little bit of stress off being first-year restaurant owners and all the way through your whole career owning a restaurant.
We're really delighted with the marketing support that we receive. I came from a background in marketing and public relations. However, as a restaurant owner, you don't have the time to execute it to the level that you would want to do it, to making things look polished and to putting out a message that we are an organized restaurant and you want to come eat our food because we know what we're doing. Having the marketing support and being able to make a request and an ad come back to you with the look you want it to have and the food looking excellent, we really appreciate that aspect.
I definitely would recommend this, especially as a retired military member. We've suggested that the family that are currently in the northern area that are considering the Ohio type area, we've suggested to friends that are in the Texas area, or one of our former customers that dined with us in our first 2 years just recently opened the Jacksonville, North Carolina location. So when they initially asked us, how did you do this? We pointed them in the right direction, got them in touch with our corporate team, And 3 years later, Ray's up there in Jacksonville just opened this week. So we're proud that one of our customers followed in our footsteps.
We strongly recommend taking your time in selecting a location. We did that and it has helped us immensely. I know it gets exciting when you first sign on the dotted line and you want to get started and you want to start selling oysters, as did we, but your location is really key to your success. And so allowing the corporate team to help you find the right location, because they're the experts, they've been doing this, and letting them help you tour different sites, taking your time is strongly advised.
Where you might think a Shuckin Shack would be a great location, there's a lot of metrics that's involved, a lot of research and analysis that the corporate team will take time to do that for you. And they provided us with 3 or 4 different locations, none of which we had ever visited to or been to, except for 20 years ago at one of our first locations we visited. And it was just, it wasn't appealing to us and it wasn't appealing to the corporate team. When we were brought to Surf City, we initially just kind of fell in love with the small town vibe of the town, based on where we're both from in the north. And then the town really needed what we provide as far as Shuckin Shack Oyster Bar and Sports Pub.